Well, I'm sitting on my neighbor Joe's frickin' deck. This is where we spend a lot of nights together.
What's up?
And frickin' hanging out, overlooking my boat, which was right there. All this crap.
Baby, we stayed.
And Joe frickin' made it. He's probably the one that fared the very best because he's a bad SOB.
Come on, Wilma.
So you were saying what, man? Frickin', what was it? About Betty. You came back and Betty was coming out of your boat.
Well, she was coming out of my trailer, but backing up a bit, when I first drove back into the marina, I was the first one back in. And I didn't come beyond the fence, and all of a sudden, John, my neighbor, John and Betty lived on
right, they were in that boat
over there.
2 boats over from that one, in that rummage pile.
Anyway, he came out, and
so they hunkered down in your boat for shelter?
Well, they did, but I saw him in the parking lot. I had no idea they were here.
That
I
away.
thought they were going
Not
to
his
some...
boat, his trailer.
Right, you didn't know they stayed, right.
Exactly. I thought they went up the street, like I did.
Right.
But when I got back, he flagged me down, and the first thing I noticed
These are our
was
neighbors, John and Betty, right.
he had my sweatshirt on with the Island Style Water Sports logo on it.
Right, so he was cold.
Anymore.
He needed clothing.
He got off the boat with nothing but his shorts on.
So what the hell happened to their boat?
Oh my God! They thought they could stay on it. It
Boat wasn't in good shape.
started to sink anyway, so they crawled over and got on the other person's pontoon boat, Tim's boat.
Did the generator go down?
The generator didn't go down, thank God.
They saved it?
That's the generator
The
running.
good Lord saved it or something, because those pontoons are still intact and floating.
That's crazy.
Everything else is sunk. But they got onto his boat and went in there temporarily until the other boat north of them, they started banging together, and it ripped the whole side of the wall out on the boat.
So let me get this straight. They were hunkered down inside their own boat. The water rose, and all of a sudden their boat sank. So they're frickin' what? Crawling out of the boat in the water, jumped up on the top of this other boat. Dottie's, you said?
No, the one next to it.
Okay, which was Ricky's?
That was Tim's boat.
On Tim's boat, the nice pontoon boat that's actually still up, but, you know, not in the shape that I heard it was in. So that used to have a whole upper tiki deck and upper level, which is gone, and they just crawled up on that?
Well, they were able to actually get onto the hull level and crawl inside for shelter momentarily.
Oh my God.
Then the other 2 boats started banging together, and the boat they were on, the wall started getting ripped out on
From the wind?
the port side.
That must have
And
been
so they got off of
terrifying.
that, and they crawled onto the floating home
Of Betty,
which
of
is-
Dottie's?
of Dottie's.
That was my next door neighbor. So they're up on the roof of that thing.
No, they crawled on the hull.
Oh, they crawled on the top hull right at the end of this, I guess.
And then they crawled across there.
Crawled
on my
across
porch,
here up to the
because
porch.
This time the boat was in my front yard.
So the boat was already above the fucking walkway.
Oh, yeah.
in
They
the front
crawled up
yard,
there
and they came up in here and took shelter inside your boat, inside your trailer. My God!
And then when I came back in the morning, I had no idea they were here until John flagged me down in the parking lot, which
My
I have
God.
a video of.
Yeah, because I thought they were going over to Betty Clark's house.
That's exactly
well,
where
did
I
you
thought
heard
they
the
were.
story about Mike Smith and Gene?
Yeah.
Betty Clark gave them the key to their lower level, and when they went to go in there, the key didn't work, so they had to.
No.
Yeah, that's what he just told me.
Listen, you misunderstood him. He had the key to get in the apartment downstairs.
Right.
Which was Betty
Clark's, right.
unit now. But he did not have the key to get upstairs.
Right.
Okay,
oh, so when the lower level apartment, the surge blew it out.
Exactly.
Yeah, he told me he had to cut a hole in the wall on the lower level. There was a drywall wall, which they made a diagonal wall because I rented that house out the upper level, and they crawled, cut out with a fucking razor knife or something, a hole in the drywall, and they crawled through it. Mike's razor knife that he had prepared.
I'm out of here, man. Come on, Gene, get the hell
and they fucking and Gene, his frail, beautiful Cajun wife,
and let me tell you something.
Hold on, she came. They crawled up to the second level and found shelter in the second level in the home of the people that I rented, which is Terry and Bill's, and they took shelter there. That's a house on Largo Sound, 2 over from Largo Sound Park, a brick shit house. And if he wouldn't have had his razor knife, we might not be talking to him still here today.
Wow.
That's correct.
Just like a Navy boy.
Guys, it was crazy.
This is Jason,
Thank
man.
God we're alive.
Largo
Thank
Cargo.
God we're alive.
Thank God we're alive.
We got whacked a little bit, just tree damage, but no big deal. We stayed in the brick shit
You got
house.
lucky. You're a pretty boy, man. What are you talking about?
Listen. I'm no